Yeah. Oh, God. Recording
Hey
in
guys,
progress.
it's Jamie and Brian from Weapon Brand. Brian's in
What's
Ohio
up?
and I'm here in Florida. And he just got done training a SWAT team in
Yeah.
Ohio. We're not going to tell you what city or town because it's kind of confidential, I guess. I don't know. Brian can tell us more about that. But I was just so excited about hearing about this. And I thought that maybe y'all would want to hear some of the questions that I had too. I know it's not every day that people get to train SWAT teams, and it's
Mhm.
something that's certainly new for me, but Brian's been doing it forever. So I just wanted to hear about his experience. What are some
Yeah.
of the things that he did? What was the response? How can we greater serve our community to continue doing trainings like this? So Brian, do you want to go ahead and share, your experience and what happened and all the goodies?
Yeah. Oh yeah. It was a great day of training. We specifically we worked on some close quarter type of defense. I mean, obviously, with SWAT team operators, they're already going into danger in multiples, and they are doing things like room clearing, serving felony warrants, um, recovering felons, hostage situations, barricades, things like that. So all their stuff typically is very close and confined. So we worked on a lot of that stuff, and the majority of our training today was weapons retention tactics. So meaning for those of you that don't know, their guns are drawn and they have to know specific tactics on how to keep those guns to keep them out of the hands of the bad guys, and so they could be safe and help protect us with those guns. So and even if they're holstered, we went over several different tactics, and then we did some stuff from the ground in case they got knocked to the ground, things like that, just to keep it pretty much in a nutshell. But
Is that
yeah,
is
we
that common for SWAT team operators to be knocked to the ground?
no, it's not common, but it's extremely dangerous. It is common, however, to come across an unknown. I know that has happened quite a bit, but a lot of times they're able to do their homework and know, in a sense, just by research and even on scene research, and questioning who all is in the environment or who all is in the house. But a lot of times they're going in blind, so that's what makes them a little bit different than just your regular police officer who is doing that also, but just as a team, and they know they're going into danger. It's not just the unknown. So, and that's what makes them put them in a much more precarious occupation than most of us.
Yeah.
So they
So,
need this type of training.
yeah, well, when you say they need this type of training, don't they get this type of training like when they sign
So
up to
that
be a SWAT officer? I don't even know how that happens. You might know, but
yeah, yeah.
don't they train you to do this? Like, why are they bringing Weapon Brand in?
Well, they bring Weapon Brand in for a few different reasons, but just to answer your first question, law enforcement, military, corrections, parole, they all get training. They all get their initial training, and then even when you get onto the SWAT team, typically you go through a specific training to be on that team. However, your ongoing training, it's not as plentiful as what we would think. As a matter of fact, you and I had a conversation about a lot of people are calling to defund police in their areas, things like that. And what they don't realize is defunding the police typically a lot of times means the very first thing they cut is their training. So they already need it. And then if that's a whole situation, a whole conversation we can get into another time. But that training is so vital to what they do because they get limited training. They
Mhm.
don't get as much as what we think. They have typically your agency will have at least a 40-hour block of training each year annually. But what happens is that 40-hour block is usually filled with things that have to be taught other than defensive tactics, other than weapons retention, other than even firearms training sometimes. So, um, those blocks of training are usually taken up. So what's left over is what they have to learn than the extra stuff. I guess I'll say, but yeah, they don't get as much training as what you would really think. usually because of funding. So for them to look out to the outside, what they were doing is they were bringing somebody else in, and they do that for a couple of reasons. One reason is, you may have your own in-house instructors that either we know something a little bit different. Sometimes they bring a fresh look in. Sometimes people are a little more receptive to an outsider in a sense because it's different.
Mhm.
And the other reason that they bring Weapon Brand is just because of for this particular team, they knew our background. They knew our experience, they knew our background, and they got little hints already of the system that we use with our
And
brand.
I know your background, but some of the people who
Yeah.
are listening to this may not know what does make you qualified to be able to teach these guys and
Well,
women. There weren't any women today, but I would imagine that there are some SWAT team officers who are
oh
women.
yeah, there are definitely there's some female operators. However, that's a hard question to answer when you say what makes you qualified, because there's very, very few actual certifications. They do exist, but there's very few certifications that would actually certify you to teach SWAT. And usually those certifications that you carry to teach SWAT or an SRT, a special response team, in order for you to teach those, the certification is mainly like an instructional skill set. Like, are you able to teach, first of all? And then it usually has to do with tactics. Very little to do with defensive tactics as far as self-defense. Usually very little to do with weapons retention, but it usually has to do a lot with different scenario-based things like barricades, hostage situations, active shooters, responding to active shooter situations. Room clearing is a big one. Those tactics are huge. Search and seizure, those types of things. So you're certified in doing that, but what's cool about what we bring to the table is we can actually be very specific in the skill set that they want to learn for that block. Like, these guys wanted to learn specifically today some self-defense or defensive tactics, or DT in the military, correctional, and law enforcement world. They wanted to know DT that was specific to SWAT team operations or SRT operations, them entering a room and encountering some kind of a subject or perp that actually charges them or tries to disarm them, just tries to harm them in some way. So we were pretty specific on that stuff today, and that's what we bring to the table. We bring those specific types of skill sets.
So being that there's not so many certifications that somebody needs to be able to teach these types of courses, the training really comes from your experience in the military and working for the state for over 20 years and developing the programs that now all of these states, law enforcement agencies actually buy from the state of Ohio that you created.
They that's the next answer to your original question. Why? Because the experience. You have a certification, but at the same time, that certification only goes so far. It's what you bring to the table as far as what's on your resume as far as experience goes. What operations have you been involved in? What trainings have you actually conducted? And I mean, for us, I've been doing this for over half of my life now. So I do have some experience in a lot of weird things, I guess you could say. But obviously,
can you name a couple weird things? Because like, I'm always fascinated about this, but like, what's a weird thing that you're trained in that most people probably aren't even aware of?
Yeah. Something weird. There's a million and one things, but I guess one thing is airplane security while transferring or transporting dangerous fugitives. That's one thing that a lot of people don't get a ton of training on, and that's something that's in my background.
And you're telling me when I asked you for an airport security video, your tip was to wear slide-on shoes so you could get through TSA? Come on, Brian.
Especially now. Hey, that's so important, getting through that TSA, because man, they're yelling at you. the family behind you, like we said, they're trying to beat you up. They're trying to harass you on getting through. Man, heart rate's elevated, breathing becomes shallow. You're in defense mode.
You're
Yeah,
killing
that's my tip, to wear slip-on shoes. Get in and get out
it.
like a phantom.
And I guess if
But
you
yeah, there's
have to transport a fugitive through an airport, then you can contact us to get the real tips.
yeah. There's a ton of stuff, James, that me and even some of our other instructors that we have with Weapon Brand that have experience in that most wouldn't. But the cool thing for me about today was it I kind of felt like it brought me back to my roots a little bit. So I was in a very familiar environment that we teach self-defense now to every type of person, but I kind of got away from teaching military groups, law enforcement groups, correction groups, and that was my bread and butter back in the day. So getting back to that today was very familiar, felt good, but leaving there, it once again reminded me of what we do and why we even started this business. It was to help those people that don't have that avenue to go to for that type of training. We've got so many people that are concealed carry holders, or people that just carry guns, have guns in their homes, and just the things that and I talk about guns, and you and I are both we're not pro gun or pro gun law. We're just pro training, and that's the one thing that today I was saying, like, man, like we have this skill set to teach officers how to hold their guns. But what about all these other people that have guns in their home or carry guns that don't really have this formal training? And luckily for us, as we are now going to have that partnership with Bill Jackson's in Pinellas Park, Florida, to be able to teach some of those classes to people that do carry guns that aren't law enforcement, or maybe former law enforcement but aren't currently law enforcement or current military, things like that. Just our average people like you and I, right?
Yeah.
But
Keep an eye out for
yeah,
that, everybody. It'll be listed on our website soon. We're just trying to figure out some dates that are going to work for both Bill Jackson's and Brian and my schedule, so that we can get as many people there as possible to train in a safe environment. So we're trying to spread it out over dates that is going to be convenient for everybody. But keep an eye out for that, because it's happening.
and just to add to that real quick, James, when I say Bill Jackson's, people are like, who? Bill Jackson's, for everybody that's listening, Bill Jackson's it's a gun shop, firing range, scuba shop, scuba certification place, ski, hike, everything. It's like they really do everything there. So that's what Bill Jackson's is. If you guys don't
It's
know.
a great place. If you're in the Florida area, stop by and check it out. It's so cool. Their
Absolutely.
parking lot isn't even really a parking lot. It's like you're out in the rainforest somewhere, and you just have to find somewhere to park between all the trees.
Right.
Really cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, go check them
And
out.
man, and the staff there, they're probably the most welcoming staff that I've ever dealt with at a range or a gun store in my life, and I've been to a lot of them. So
Yeah.
they are definitely up there in top tier with customer service too. But
So do you want to
this is turning into a Bill Jackson's commercial.
on 19 in Pinellas Park?
Yeah.
Do you want to tell them some of the things that we're going to be offering at those classes?
Yeah. So the one thing is very similar to what we taught today, weapons retention. And with that weapons retention class, we're also going to be teaching you how to draw and fire from the holster. As a lot of people know that go to ranges, most ranges don't allow you to fire or even draw from your holster. They have a platform in front of you, so you have to lay the gun down, lock, load it, and put rounds down range that way. However, what they are allowing us to do is teach the class, teach you tactics on how to hold on to your gun, keep your gun in a shooting event, a shooting incident, and then not only that, but teach you and train you on how to draw and fire from your holster. So it's pretty cool that they're allowing us to conduct that training there. The other training that we're going to be doing is for those of you that are shooters now, we're giving a precision shooting class where we're going to diagnose where your rounds are going, go over your grip, go over your breathing, go over your trigger management, sight alignment, sight picture, do some point shooting, and make you a more precise shooter. Whether it's you want to go to competition or you just want to be safer in your home. So, but yeah, that's all the gun stuff. And I know we do more self-defense stuff now, but for those of you gun enthusiasts, military, law enforcement, corrections that want some extra training, or just regular people that carry guns or have them in their homes, we still offer some stuff.
Well, and it'll be around the holiday time too. So I know a lot of people purchase firearms for their significant others
Yeah,
around the
yeah,
holidays, for
yeah.
themselves, Black Friday deals. So keep an eye out for that. You know,
And James,
sorry, go ahead.
when you mention that, just before we get off of this topic, when you said they buy firearms and get firearms and firearms gear and equipment and accessories, all those things for the holidays, that would be a great holiday gift in itself right there, one. And number two, we offer a class, and Bill Jackson's, they also offer that class of fundamentals of having that firearm. When, if you're one of those people that buy a firearm and you are just clueless on how to, or even not clueless, but want to know some tips on how to handling it, and some fundamentals of handling that firearm. We offer that, and so does Bill Jackson.
So something that's been, on everybody's mind lately is active shooting. Did you guys do anything like that today in the SWAT team, or was it brought up, or do they train for that kind of stuff?
They train it. They obviously train it. I think every SWAT team now in SRT should be training that, obviously. But their active shooter training is a little different than ours, in a sense that us as civilians, our active shooter training is, what do we do if there's an active aggressor? What do we do if now an environment becomes what we call contaminated, or meaning somebody's attacking us, right? We teach those tactics on how to get out. If you can't get out, how to find cover, concealment. If you can't do that and don't have a barrier, then we teach you how to fight. So they teach a little bit differently. Obviously, law enforcement, SRT, SWAT, and any type of operational team, they teach what they're doing when there is an active shooter, and they're responding to that. So, which, as we all know, there's been some incidents that really made us open our eyes with some law enforcement agencies across the country. So, thankfully for us, our police departments are training in that, in case something like that does happen. So, to answer your question, we did bring it up. We talked a little bit about it, but we didn't really do any tactics with that. It just wasn't in today's training. We can do it, but like I said, today's training was more self-defense, defensive tactics, and some weapons retention stuff.
Okay. Awesome. Well,
Yeah.
thank you for your service, but thank you for being my awesome partner and my cousin and my besties. And doing this, because I had so many questions about how it went today, what's it look like, and thank goodness they actually did allow some pictures. So I will be posting those. And for all you single women out there, oh man, there are some good-looking SWAT team officers. You didn't hear me say that, but
they were a great group of guys today. They were very, very receptive, very respectful. I mean, just as soon as I walked in, it's kind of funny, Jane, you and I have talked about this. Whenever I walk into an environment with, especially that kind of environment, they're always kind of like, what's this dude going to show us, right? But right off the bat, as soon as I start to give them a little bit about what we're going to do, and, we're not going to take away from anything that they've already had, they became very receptive. And today's team specifically was, man, they were really, really fun to work with. And everybody participated. Everybody, I think, had a good time, and everybody had something positive to say and something to take away from the training. So kudos to today's session, today's team.
Awesome. Yes, I applaud them for going that extra mile and booking the training, because it's easy just to sit behind a computer monitor and do your training virtually, and you really don't learn a whole lot from that. But those teams that are taking the extra training, going the extra mile, it's just going to help us stay safer. So And now
And
you're,
James,
or go ahead.
to speak on that, something we talked about today for those people that not just for people in that environment or people in that profession, the one thing that and people that know me that have taken my training before in that environment, they've heard me say this a million times. Do not let your agency dictate what type of officer or operator you're going to be. Don't let them dictate that because they don't have the funds. Guys, if you are guys and ladies, if you are in those positions, take it upon yourself to spend a little extra money, to spend a little extra time and find some type of training, whether it's with us or whether it's somebody else. Don't let your agency dictate how safe you're going to be, and don't let your agency dictate because of their funds or their lack of training. Sometimes don't let them dictate what kind of a job you're going to do protecting us, protecting the public. So,
and I'm sure your families will support you. It might cost you some extra money to do something that your academy or your department isn't paying for. But if you tell them like, hey, look, this is so I can come home safe to you every night, like the money will appear.
Yeah. So, and it's fun. It's fun training.
Yeah. Yeah.
But hey, James, listen, and I don't know if I should say this on air right now or not, I'm trying to be as fit as possibly I can. But that same team that I trained, they talked me into they're taking me to lunch to go get some pizza here in the next couple minutes. So I gotta run.
Well, enjoy. And if any of them want to do reviews for us, you know where to send them. And
okay, cool.
Yeah. And thanks for answering those questions. Guys, we are going to post this. And if you have any other questions for Brian, post them and maybe we'll go live again. Or we can answer them in the comments. But yeah, let us know what you're thinking. Let us know who you think we should go train next. Give us your contacts and let's all work together to keep our community safer.
Totally. Absolutely.
All right. Bye, Brian. Enjoy your pizza.
All right, Jay. I love you.
Love you too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.